take 3 out of 4 in Kansas City against the Royals. Let's get into it. First of all, not to brag too much, but maybe brag just a little bit, this is exactly how I saw this series going at the end of my last video. Yeah, that's right, I got the receipts. Splitting the games with Kikuchi and Barrios in the first 2, and then letting our 2 erstwhile aces absolutely dominate this slightly better than AAA lineup in Kansas City. Still, lots to talk about it, even though I pretty much had it surrounded before it even began. Let's just talk about it. So the first was the worst. Jose Barrios gets absolutely knocked around by this, as earlier mentioned, not very good lineup in Kansas City. Is it collar tugging time? Yeah, maybe. Okay, first, a caveat. The Kansas City Royals lineup through the first 3 games, again, 3 games is a sample size that's about yay big, so it's hard to really take it seriously, but they had the second highest hard hit percentage in all of baseball, and yet still got shut out twice in that opening series and had the worst run output of any team in baseball. So is there a case to say that they're better than they appear, but they were really unlucky early on? Yeah, maybe. But on the other hand, man, look at this lineup. Like, Bobby Witt might be special, this Pasquantino kid might be a diamond in the rough, but otherwise, yeah, no one's impressed. Like, a team that's running Hunter Dozier out there every day, that's not a good offense. There's just not. That's not how that, no. And yet, that not very good offense absolutely lit up Jose Barrios, and that's not good. I don't know what to say at this point. It's very clear to me that something has changed dramatically in the man from the end of 2001 to the beginning of 2002. When you talk about pitchers whose performance suddenly crater, you're usually talking about 2 different kinds of circumstances. One, their velocity has dipped completely below the point that's sustainable, but, you know, Barrios is never much of a velocity guy anyway. His fastball is his worst pitch. It always has been. Or 2, they develop a case of the yips, like a Daniel Bard type situation where all of a sudden you just cannot find the strike zone. That's hardly Barrios' problem. He's in the strike zone entirely too much, like meatball middle strike zone. It's not like his stuff is degraded at all. His fastball is about as bad or as good as it ever was, and his off-speed breaking stuff still has this crazy, insane movement. It's just for whatever reason, it's all ending up like middle now. Is he still tipping his pitches? Maybe, but if that's still happening, I mean, that's a bigger problem too, right? That's a problem of not being able to be coached, or a problem of our coaching staff not being able to suss out exactly what the problem is, and both of those are far bigger problems than just getting knocked around by the Royals one time. Anyway, I don't know what it is. My line that I used for the Bassett start where he got knocked around, of the patience, calm, don't worry about it, it's a blip, it's a 30 start season, the guy's going to work it out. That line doesn't really work for Barrios anymore. This is now a long stretch of time where he's just not as effective a starter as we anticipated, and certainly not the kind of guy that the Blue Jays should have given that long extension to. Oh boy, that might come back. Yeah, it might be a big problem. But he had the whole offseason to try to figure stuff out, and does looks like he hasn't. And his performance in the World Baseball Classic was more of this. We haven't seen good Jose in so long. We've seen bad Jose a bunch, so I don't know how we get out of this. I don't know what the next move is here. I hope Jose and Pete Walker do, because right now it's looking pretty grim, y'all. Do I think he's going to give up 8 runs to terrible offenses all the time? No, I think it's going to be the same thing as last year, where he'll have like maybe 40% disasters and 60% okay or better, but that's not good enough. For the amount of money and the amount of trust that the Blue Jays have given Jose Barrios, that is not even close to enough. So I'm really hoping that there's an answer coming down the pipe sometime soon, and I guess not a whole lot more to say about that. Let's just move on, right? Yeah, I'm getting sad. Let's move on. Hey, yeah, let's talk about something more positive. Let's start with Yusei Kikuchi, looking like spring training Yusei Kikuchi. That's my favorite Yusei Kikuchi. Seriously, he was attacking the zone with aplomb and vigor, and he was kind of strutting, and he showed his emotions, and he was having a good time. I think he could have gone longer than the 5 innings he went, but he was very effective for those 5 innings. He gave up that 1 home run to Franmil Reyes, and that was a pretty bad pitch. But on the whole, otherwise, he absolutely limited any kind of hard contact. Got a lot of strikeouts, looked great. Keep it up, you say. This is what I'm talking about. And for games 3 and 4, did we kind of know that Alek Manoah and Kevin Gausman were going to dominate the Royals in those starts? Yeah, I did. I definitely did. And they did do that, and that was wonderful. It was especially great to see Alek, once again, not having his A-grade stuff, but that's not the thing that Alek does, right? He's not a pure stuff, dominate you kind of guy. He's, well, what do we got today? We're going to work with just my slider today? Great, let's do that. Like, he's a pitcher, man. The guy just uses whatever he has in his disposal that day and uses it to absolutely dominate the opposition. It's really inspiring, actually. Would I like him to have his A-plus stuff and have that appear anytime now? Yeah, that'd be great. But as long as he's using his crafty guile and his bulldog-like mentality to win ball games, I don't really care, man. Take your time. The Blue Jays are winning when you're on the mound. That's all we want, really, right? That's what we want from an ace. Guys are ace, no doubt. And then Gausman continues to be razor sharp. That splitter was absolutely falling off the table. He could also throw it for strikes every once in a while when they were laying off. I love that one at bat where he threw 3 straight four-seam fastballs right down the middle, and the guy didn't even think about offering at it because he was waiting on that splitter, and some say he's still waiting on that splitter. Just wonderful pitching and a great game call from Danny Jansen. Just fantastic pitching performance from those two, as kind of expected. Yusei Kikuchi looking great, Jose Barrios looking like a train wreck. That smells like 3 out of 4 to me, which is pretty much what I thought would happen, which is great to see, actually. Jose I could do without altogether, but everything else gave me a lot of hope and a lot of positive feels. And now we can talk about the most fun part about this team right now, which is the offense, and about the fact that Brandon Belt apparently left his bat in San Francisco, and Danny Jansen, for all that he raked throughout spring training, just doesn't seem to be able to hit a big league breaking ball right now. And it doesn't matter. Because Bo, Vlad, Matt, and Dalton are all piping red hot. They couldn't keep them off the base paths the whole series. Dalton Varsho looks like he's going to be an all-star in his first year as a Blue Jay, as most of the stat heads predicted, and most casual fans said, who the hell is Dalton Varsho? But he's here and he's incredible. And do you think Matt Chapman wants to get paid after this year? I think Matt Chapman really wants to get paid this year. He is absolutely raking. And what's more, he is hitting line drives in a way that I haven't seen him do since like his salad days in Oakland. Hitting the ball the other way. Matt Chapman, the same Matt Chapman? Unbelievable. I didn't think that was legal. Bo is looking like the best version of Bo, and Vladdy's looking like the best version of Vladdy, which is so unbelievably sexy. This guy is such a dangerous hitter when he refuses to expand the zone. He has more home runs than strikeouts so far this year. Yeah, I know it's only 7 games. I don't care. That's sexy as hell. With airtight defense and great hitting throughout the lineup, especially those 4 guys that I highlighted earlier, it doesn't matter that George Springer hasn't really gotten off to a good start other than the 5 hits on opening day, which is still outrageous. But other than that, he's still mostly been kind of mediocre. And Santiago Espinal hasn't gotten a whole lot of time, and Whit Merrifield hasn't really cemented himself, and it doesn't matter, because those 4 guys are absolutely unstoppable, tearing the cover off the ball. Oh, it's a beautiful thing. Which means that there's really only 2 negatives to take away from this whole series, in my opinion. I mean, you could point to Tim Mayza giving up a couple runs, but I'm not even that worried about it. He also struck out all 4 batters he faced in one appearance, so I think Tim's fine. No, the only 2 major negative takeaways from this whole series were Jose Barrios, please pull yourself out of this train wreck, please, and thank you, that'd be great. And Trevor Richards appears to be as bad as he was last year. Perhaps 2021 Trevor Richards will never appear again. I don't know how many bad innings it's going to take before Trevor Richards is off the team and Nate Pearson is on the team. But that number exists. There is a finite number of bad innings that Trevor Richards can throw before eventually Nate Pearson is on the team and Trevor isn't. We're getting very close to that, I imagine. Yeah, pretty soon. I think one of the reasons why the team hasn't pulled the trigger on it before is they don't want to lose the asset for nothing, right? This team loves its asset management. Even now in World Series mode, I think they are loath to lose an asset like Richards for nothing, assuming that someone will pick him up on waivers if we sent him down. I no longer think that that's a fait accompli. I think it's entirely possible that if you try to send him down to the minors, the league as a whole will just kind of be like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. He's not very good. Like, Eric Swanson has been fine, better than fine, good. He's been good in his role, but he still doesn't quite seem to have that, like, swing and miss, blow you away kind of look. Swapping out your worst reliever, who is unquestionably Trevor Richards right now, and bringing a potential high-end replacement like Nate Pearson, I think that completely elevates the bullpen to the point where you look at it as a strength rather than being a ho-hum kind of thing. This is all assuming that Pearson can continue to find the strike zone, but he's been doing pretty all right for a goodly chunk of time, including his time in winter ball. might be time to give him extended big league look. And even if all you get out of that is Trevor Richards is no longer trying to blow up good leads. We had a 6-0 lead, Trevor. Never mind. We won the game. It's fine. The sooner that guy isn't there trying to sewer otherwise good wins, the better off we'll be. That might just be addition through subtraction. And if Nate Pearson ends up being anything, all the better. But we're coming up on that time. That time is coming up soon. So the Jays turn around and are in Anaheim. That's right, late night West Coast baseball. Maybe my favorite kind of baseball, as I am a night owl. I understand that I am in the minority on that one, but I love it. I'm really excited to see Ohtani and Trout. I'm really excited to see this new Angels team with depth. I really hope that this is the year they finally, make the playoffs so we can see two of the best players in baseball in the postseason. How nice would that be? Anyway, it's April. Can't really talk about that yet, but I want to pull for the Angels this year, just not this weekend. It is the Trouble Trio pitching for the Blue Jays. That's Bassett, Barrios, and Kikuchi. Kikuchi is one good start away from being officially out of the Trouble Trio, just making it a dumpster duo. That's a bit mean, perhaps, but I do love my alliteration. And honestly, one good Chris Bassett performance, hopefully on Friday against the Angels, and he's out of that conversation too, and it would just be Jose Barrios being awful by himself. But on the upside, we also miss Ohtani as a starter for the Angels, so, I think we're going to do just fine. All lefties for the Angels, I'm led to understand, which is hilarious. I can't wait to see how many placatas Vlad has out there. So, TLDW, Blue Jays good, Barrios and Richards bad. Yeah, I guess I could have told you all that before the series started. Oh, wait, I did. Okay, I am going to brag a little bit. Okay, I did. All right. Okay, I'm done with that now. It's over. We're done with that. And we're done with this video too. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for subscribing. Please do so if you haven't already. I will see you at the conclusion of the Anaheim series when the Blue Jays come home for their home opener. I'm excited about that because I can't wait to see what all of these much ballyhooed outfield district things kind of look like in person. I don't know, they look pretty sharp on the TV. I want to see what happens when I'm actually physically there. And you better believe I'm going to physically be there. Thank you very much. Have yourselves a great long weekend.